A man helped a crying tiger one day, and you will not believe what happens after. Atwood was a bright, kind man who lived alone in a small village near a mountain. He worked as a forest ranger, which was almost too perfect for him, as he had lived in the mountains all his life and knew the area well. His job mostly involved routine walks up the mountain and taking note of the things he saw so he could report it back to his team. It was on one of these walks that he would come across something that would change his life forever. The forest was covered in thick snow, and the terrain was hard to traverse, so he had to take frequent breaks to catch his breath and sat down every couple of steps or so. While he was resting, he heard some whimpering nearby. He looked around carefully for the source of the sound until he came across a bush. He approached it slowly and saw a tiny head poke out of the blanket of snow. There was a small tiger cub laying there. Upon closer inspection, he noticed that he was covered in bloody bite marks and also seemed to have a broken leg. He acted immediately, picking him up and cradling him to his chest to warm him up as he made his way down the mountain and back into the village. There, at his house, he made a bed out of his old clothes to let the animal rest as he gathered medicinal supplies. He used herbs and bandages to stop the bleeding and wrap the wounds, making sure to treat the affected areas gently. He also tied a few sticks to the broken leg to act as a makeshift splint. He nursed the cub back to health and fed him for a couple of months until he rapidly grew into a young tiger with a long scar running down the old broken leg. The man named the tiger Gore and let him accompany him on his daily trips to the mountains. Gore seemed happy, playing in the grass and running around the woods. He was essentially acting like a giant house cat. Atwood was pleased to see the tiger enjoying himself, but he couldn't help noticing that he acted differently from most wild tigers. He definitely couldn't keep Gore forever, and if he let those habits fester, then he might not be able to adjust to life in the wild when he had to inevitably be let go. Thus, he made the difficult decision to release Gore into the wild sooner rather than later. He tried walking away from him, but the tiger followed as always. He didn't know what to do aside from yelling at Gore in hopes of scaring him off, which ended up working. He walked back to the village with tears in his eyes, making peace with the fact that they'll never see each other again. It's 4 years later, and Atwood has nearly forgotten about Gore. He's dealing with much more pressing personal problems in his life. He kept fainting while he was at work, and eventually was diagnosed with acute kidney problems. There's a treatment for it, but he unfortunately couldn't afford it. He just had to go about his work as usual with promises to take more breaks and take it easy. Then, while on patrol, he noticed that was smoke billowing from parts of the mountain. There was a forest fire, and it was rapidly spreading. He tried to run away, but the state of his physical health didn't let him go far before he weakly stumbled and fell. Suddenly, a tiger appeared before him, blocking his route. He was ready to accept his fate then and there, except the tiger didn't attack him. Instead, it pulled at his clothes gently and even cleared out the path for him using a branch. He went with Atwood all the way to his house, and that's when he noticed the long scar on one of the tiger's legs. Gore had saved him, just like how he saved Gore all those years before. He was overjoyed to see his old friend, but their reunion would only last a short while. Gore would go back into the woods after making sure Atwood was safe and sound, never to be seen again.